Welcome to After Party 24. We are thankfully joined by our longtime guest NPC, Emma. Hello, Emma.
Hey, Emma.
Hello.
Hey.
Longest running NPC, maybe?
Well,
She's
yeah,
a
we've
three-peat.
certainly, she's a three-peat, that's right. Yeah, we definitely have yet to have an NPC stick around for 3 entire episodes, that's for sure. But thankfully you were able to join us. It was looking a little dicey there for some of the weeks leading up, but we will be discussing Session 72, 377, Session 73, Birds of a Feather, and Session 74, Truth Through Her Eyes. So, Emily, you have our summary this time around?
Yeah. So in 72, we find out that Falsey is a bachelor and his hospitality skills are subpar. We meet Keck, who thought she was passed out on her friend's porch. Turns out to be Falzarin's porch. Shakara gets a tattoo and discovers what happened to the barrel, potentially the barrel, that Danzig was in.
It's Tenchi's barrel. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I
It's pretty
don't know.
fishy.
Let's unpack this stuff one thing at a time.
Hold on. Let me go through it, then we can talk about it. Mia and Falsey went to go see if the Tritons had come to visit, and noticed Falsey's trying to get a hold of them. And Mia called Falsey out about his trusting people, and once again says she likes plans. She's so disappointed in us, I'm sure. And Hef mixes some 377s.
That's right.
Hefe.
That is what happened in 72.
We got some 377s going
Yeah,
right now.
it's 5 o'clock where Em is. Emma, not Emily.
It is much later than 5 o'clock there. It's like,
This is already confusing.
yeah. We are in 3 different time zones.
Just this is unrelated to the episode, but where are you talking to us from right now? Have you made it back home yet?
I'm still in the UK, but I'm supposed to be flying back tomorrow if all goes well.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
Too bad you're not really Keck in real life. You could just fly home.
It'll still be a pretty long distance to just fly.
Yeah.
Birds migrate. They can fly, you know.
Yeah, but I'm a lazy bird. I drink too much.
Can't fly too well with a hangover.
Or well intoxicated.
Can't fly and play your lute at the same time either, so.
You drink too much or Keck drinks too much?
No, Keck. This is a special occasion for a drink.
The minute he opened the door, he knew you were a bird that liked to drink. So let's dig into that. So Shaft opens the door, finds this bird type creature, saying hello and not really knowing where she was at, and then Falzarin proceeds to let her know about everything, even including his bank account number.
And that was what bothered me so much.
Showed her the secret little stone panel where I hide my key to my house,
Yeah, you were very welcoming.
etc., etc. Yeah, I sure was, Keck. How did you repay me?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
I don't think it was a coincidence that she happened to be accidentally at your doorstep there,
Well,
Falzarin.
it's an interesting theory.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think you're probably right. I still don't know what Keck's deal is and was, but yeah, it caught me off guard because, as we all know, Emma's a very nice and pleasant and kind person, and she turns out to be the NPC who's like the most disruptive and devious that we've ever had on the show.
Did she not, did Emma not tell Leland that's what she wanted to play?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. This is all a
like,
facade that
I'll
that
join
Emma
your party
portrays.
if I can play chaotic evil.
No, it's nice to just let the evil shine through sometimes.
I mean, the evil came across as not evil at first, that's for sure. It was like,
Who says it's evil? I mean, yeah, I think it's still up for debate if it was evil or just, in her opinion, good.
true.
Yes.
Well,
exactly.
that's the question, right? Like, why did her goggles show what they showed? And
Magic.
I'm
Duh,
still mad
figure
about
that out.
I'm so mad about that.
Oh man, her like family heirlooms that she's had forever are just permanently ruined now.
Junk.
We open the door, and then, of course, Shaft shuts it again, and then Shakara immediately runs out and says, "Hey, let me take a look at that loot you got there. Beautiful.
It was pretty.
What's this all about?"
Uh-huh.
That's how you meet. That's how you make friends immediately. Let me see.
Yeah.
your stuff.
Kara's always wanted to be a musician. That's actually why she left. Magician. That's actually why she left her little village, because she wanted to go out and become a groupie.
We do not know that.
Oh, really?
I don't think.
Hey, there you go.
This is new backstory info.
Just looking for the proper band people to go follow around the country.
I mean, I would buy a ticket to you guys' duet.
We were a good team. We made a good performance in the end to get into the party.
You have a lot of drama to write songs about. I mean, musicians, the drama comes to them. This is what fuels the songwriting process. You need to stir up the pot a little bit. Get some inspiration.
Yeah, we did that a little bit.
You sure did.
Just a bit.
So Keck was a type of bird person, an Aarakocra, right? An Aarakocra bard. So that was interesting. I didn't really even know that race existed in D&D. So to answer to your point, John, I'm still unsure if Keck was just mixed up or sent on a mission to try and mess with Falsey.
Keck's on a mission to take Falzern down. There's
You
no
think
doubt
so?
in my mind.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Absolutely. I mean, she had way too much information. Everybody was fine, getting tattoos. We were all buddies. Things were looking good. I'd take a little trip just to check out, see what's behind the curtain there at Alstoff's place. And we're back, and then all hell breaks loose. So, there was a conversation had at some point in time. So there was stuff going on the moment she walked in that door at your apartment.
So then who's she working for?
I don't know yet.
Maybe she's Samuel of Cultus.
I mean, Bill, think about it. Leland's behind all this. So if Emma says, I want to stir the pot a little bit, even if that's what you said, right? Leland thinks, okay, what's happening within the party right now? Shakara's mistrusting Falzarin. Okay, so I'm going to give this bird a lute that has symbols on it that Shakara will be drawn to. So then Shakara wants to buddy with her, become friends. Boom, boom, bada bing, boom.
What was that? Is the sound effect that happened?
I'm sick, okay?
Into a love story.
I didn't take all the bada booms into account when I was thinking about it. Now that you mention it.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Oh, yeah, and the bing, of course.
The missing part of the theory. It makes sense now.
Did you choose to be the bird, Emma, or did Leland tell you what to be?
I chose to be a bird. It was fitting for me to be a bird.
If our listeners don't know you, maybe you should explain that a little bit more.
I really like parrots a lot for some reason.
A lot.
A lot. So much that people will send me a picture of a bird, of like a parrot in a game by now. If they see a parrot, they think of me. Because I kind of spammed parrots everywhere.
Have you ever owned one?
No, I've not owned a parrot.
So why are you obsessed with parrots?
They're so colorful and loud and I don't know. It's since I was a child, I think, already. Never really colorful and happy birds and not a regular animal to be drawn to.
Have you ever come across a parrot in real life? Got a chance to hold them or see them up close?
Not hold them, but I've seen them up close, yeah. The scarlet macaws, then. Those are the prettiest.
Oh, yeah.
That's thrilling stuff, yeah.
Well, I was going to ask her why she chose a bard. Come on. Why did you choose a bard? Yeah.
Because I made you guys that song and I was like, oh, I want to be a bard on the show as well.
Oh, true.
That weird song with 6 lines or something.
I was hoping you were going to do some stuff later and it was going to be added in.
Oh.
I thought you guys might have a plan, but no.
Yeah, some ukulele stuff.
You failed us. You failed us. Okay,
All right,
anyway.
Emily, you're in charge here.
Yeah, I was just about to say, shut up. We're going on to session 73.
Wow.
I like it when Em's in charge.
She's
of the
more
after
aggressive than I am. Yeah, you like that, do you?
party. Yeah.
So in 73 Birds of a Feather, we leave Hef, and we go to Allstoff's shop, and Shaft orders some manacles, and while he's doing that, Shakara and Keck have a little chat. Then we leave there, and we go to the library to meet Mia and Falsey to find out about the Tritons.
Hey, you're skipping
Yeah,
over the tattoo and stuff that we already.
I said that already. I got a tattoo.
No, we didn't discuss it. Like
She's
you
gonna
got-
summarize all of it, and then we have to remember again.
What do we need to
Oh,
discuss
I
about
see.
that
This
tattoo?
is-
I got a tattoo. And Keck didn't get a tattoo because she didn't want one on her beak like a prison tat, and she
Yeah.
couldn't have it on her
Yeah.
feathers. So she didn't get one. But I did get one. I got a giant eagle on my shoulder.
So why'd you choose the giant eagle?
I want to fly. That's all there is to it. I want to fly.
Well, you're not flying. The giant eagle's flying.
But it could hold me in its claw, or I could hold on to it and it could fly me.
Ah.
It's
That was
a
just
giant
inspiring
eagle.
for the bird to just.
Oh, it had nothing to do with the fact that Keck's a bird.
Aw, I was really thinking you guys were a couple.
Well, they like to drink. I know that. They can toss
And
them down.
Emma was like, "Yeah, I'll get a tattoo of a dragonborn. I mean, if you get a bird." And then she didn't follow through with her side. The breakup's gonna be brutal.
I was just thinking it would be super cool if I could call forth the eagle and it could fly me out of a sticky situation or to a sticky situation.
That'd be awesome. Like Gandalf.
Yeah. Fly, you fools.
Everybody wants to be a wizard.
No.
Okay, continue summarizing the episodes, Em. Come on, let's go.
Okay, anyway. 73. We go to Allstoff's shop. We find out some... Shaft did a very good job of getting information for us there about the paladins of cultists and their connection to Izzy.
It was risky.
It
But it
was.
paid off.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Bada
was
bing, bada
some good
boom.
intel. Some good
Yeah.
intel.
All kinds of bada booming there.
Oh no, is this our new thing now?
That's
Please,
my new catchphrase.
please let this not be our new thing.
If you would buy a T-shirt, DM me. I'll get it made.
And then Shaft does a little bit of sneakiness. And then we go to the library, and Falzarin disappoints Shakara by saying the Tritons have not been contacted yet. And Shakara gets a wee bit upset about that.
Just a little bit.
Just a wee bit.
A pattern I'm seeing.
I mean, it has been a pattern for a while.
Yeah, it has actually. I've been playing Falsey to not really react to Shakara's
Distrust.
yeah, the comments that she makes that almost are a bit of a jab and
Yeah, little digs that Shakara likes to throw around.
yeah. A little bit extra attitude on some of the things she says towards Falsey.
Just a little. Yeah.
But Falsey's not always the most observant, so that maybe is part of it, that he's not totally understanding what's going on, but he'll find that out soon enough,
I
exactly
think
what's
I
going on.
made my displeasure quite clear.
Yeah, I don't think it can be overlooked anymore.
So, Shaft, you want to say anything about your Allstoff talking?
Oh, we're changing the format back to talking about it as you summarize.
We're good.
I'm just
We got this.
This show does not have a format. So.
No, there's no format. Getting some cool manacles, I think, would be in line, right? I lost a set when our buddy took off and oared me on his way out to sea.
Yeah.
Dallin, yeah.
Yeah.
So I needed a good set, so why not get a cool set? I think the thing that the material in which the metal that it's going to be made of seems like it might be a clue to something we need to be aware of. Because I think the diggers was the first time we've heard of the diggers. And the
Giant
snakes
ballistas.
and giant ballistas were
Yeah.
all being made of the
That's
same
A wee
type
bit concerning.
expensive metal. Yeah, and I mean, when he said digger, it made me think about, the towers are there. They're digging down into the ground looking for something. I think that's
Yeah.
some clues we received before. So, this special metal is very strong. So, there's a little bit of clues going on there of what's happening. And Alstoff seems like the kind of guy that's, I don't know if he's really in on anything much more than just making some money.
Yeah, he's an opportunist.
Yeah, that's the feeling I got too.
Can we quick mention Leland's voice as Alstoff?
Yeah.
Yes, that was on the list. I thought it was very well done. Sounds so much different when I heard it on the recording. But
That's actually his real voice, and then he
deepens everything else.
He deepens the rest of his
all the rest of
DMing.
the time we talk to him, he's got a
Lower
filter
the
on.
pitch on everything else. That's exactly right.
I mean, we've never met him in person, so we can only assume.
Yeah.
How funny would it be if you were in a room full of balloons sucking helium while we played to make that voice?
Well, it. Sorry to shatter the helium sucking illusion, but that does happen in post. Because when we were playing and we got to that part, I had completely forgotten really that Alstoff was a gnome and that you had already heard him speak too at the port. I'm like, oh fuck, what did I do? Because I was like, I don't know, because with the NPC guests, and I was like so enraptured in what's going on and what's about to happen. Like, 'cause,
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to change the pitch a little bit, but I thought it sounded okay. I wasn't that happy with how it actually sounded, but
Yeah,
I liked it.
I thought it
too.
sounded a little more echoey than I wanted it to. But
Nah.
Nah, it's not good.
You're your own worst critic. It was great.
That's
But,
true.
he has been working directly with Isabella. We found that out too. So, I mean, I think I've shared that with Falzarin only at this point, though.
yeah, I think so. Or even maybe not even that yet. I don't think actually in these episodes.
I don't think so.
Falzarin, did I share it with you?
I don't think you did. No.
Oh.
Why are you asking Bill?
Yeah, right.
You think he'll remember?
In some of our future recording, Shaft does for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
My mistake.
Spoilers!
But no, I was actually like, I was a little pissed that you had uncovered that information. I was like, oh, well, shit. Because then the 74's end reveal was like, okay, yeah, she's fucking here. It's like, there she is right there.
It was, I think
mean-
it still had impact, all right? It was good.
Yeah.
You went through this whole 20-minute description of everyone at the table. You get to the last person, and we knew who it would be, but
Of
also
course.
you made us doubt it because we waited 15 minutes to hear everyone else's description. The second you said Portly, though, I was like, yes,
Yeah.
freaking out quietly.
Well, there was it's funny in the rough cut. There was a part where, the part where Shakara and Keck had their second little short private conversation as you all were moving into the hall and kind of parting ways. There was a part where we, getting everybody back on mic. I'm like, okay, time for some exposition here. I haven't heard myself speak in a while, so.
There was a lot of roleplay, a lot.
Well, for the listener, the next 4 to 6 episodes, everything we have recorded in the future is still happening at this party. So there's a lot of shit that goes down at this party.
It's a really good party.
That's a great party.
There's definitely opportunity for Emma to record something to be on in the background of the party, I think. If you can make it home.
Still plenty of opportunity for a little extra Keck action. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, Keck totally forgot to say bye to everyone else.
They don't matter.
Well, I don't know. You're the closest NPC I've ever came to stabbing.
That's not true for me.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. No, you were causing a lot of controversy there, and I think once I said, I think we're done here. That was just about where the stabby was going to start. I wasn't going to do it right when you fire breath Falzarin. I thought, that's probably well deserved, but later on, I thought we might all kill each other.
And that's the end of our podcast.
For sure, if it was Shaft and Bryn in that moment, I would have been sneaking an attack in there. But it's hard for me. I'm still thinking of both characters sometimes. So, but as Mia, I was like, remember you're good, talk it out. Like, I had to tell myself that.
I'll have to say this is another example of Shaft being a voice of reason.
Very true.
I did write that down, but that's next session, so hush.
All right, go for it, Em.
You're not the voice of reason
and you
yet.
all say I'm a stickler for format. Fuck me.
Em's been hiding this for like 100 episodes.
Yeah, right.
now.
She's like,
Give me
oh,
control and power!
it's been 23 fucking after parties, and finally I have my time to shine.
Oh boy.
I'll just say it used to go a lot smoother.
So anyway,
Jonathan.
end of 73.
I got one.
You guys are
was it-
stuck in quarantine together. Like, be careful what you say.
I ignore him most of the time anyway, so it's okay.
Yeah, I barely know she's there.
Oh my gosh. This is getting
20 years of marriage, people. This is what it comes to. I love you, honey.
Yeah, whatever.
So at the end of 23, Shakara gets a little upset.
73.
23.
Get 73. What did I
She's
say?
thinking of the years of marriage.
Yeah. The end of 73, Shakara looks through Kek's goggles and unleashes a bout of flame on Falzarin.
Flame broiled Falsey.
Yep. And you did not take anywhere near as much damage as I was hoping you would. I was quite disappointed with that.
You dang right. You just used fire on an evocation wizard. What do you expect?
Singed
Burns.
off eyebrows at least.
Burn.
Oh, that's right. He's extremely squishy. He just happens to know how to use fire.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Wizard, I expect you to burn.
So we start off 74 with Shaft not being too happy about his buddy getting flame broiled and tries to ring on the ram Shakara. But
That
I
was fun.
deflected it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
And then the goggles get passed around between everybody except Falzarin.
I don't think Mia had them as well, right?
Mia did look through them, yeah. She did.
Yeah. Yeah, but still didn't believe what she was seeing. Seeing is not believing.
Yeah. Seeing is not believing for Mia, that's for sure. Yeah.
And then Mia destroyed the goggles.
Well, can I comment on that real quick? I didn't quite understand what I was casting. There was a lot of looking up and talking that was kind of edited out. And I didn't realize they would be, useless forever. But I was suspecting they were like magical and some sort of trick. And in the moment, let's assume Mia's naive and sort of knows this spell now. Like, it's a level up and she's kind of figured it out and remembers it in the heat of the moment. Boom, she casts the spell and that's sort of...
But
It worked out, I think.
you
but...
also said Mia is wise beyond her years.
Oh, for sure. I still think that I think it was wise. I think that those goggles caused more problems in like the 5 minutes, 10 minutes that we were all playing, and it was magical. It wasn't.
Or the goggles revealed that Falzarin is actually a traitor, and you destroyed her only opportunity or only way we could detect if anybody else was a Deep Scion.
Bill loves this way too much. He's enjoying this way too much.
I guess I choose to believe that my gut is better than trusting a new stranger.
Good intuition, Mia.
I don't know.
Why don't we just ask Emma? Is he a traitor? I mean, Leland had to tell you.
I only know what I told
Okay,
during...
so what do you
If
think?
he's a
Is he
traitor,
a traitor?
don't you think Bill would know?
Not if he's a sleeper agent.
Yeah.
If
Should I
he's
just ask Bill?
he's working with the cultists, but he doesn't know he's working with the cultists because he's a sleeper agent and he hasn't been activated yet.
He's a deep sleeper agent.
I just need
like that.
someone to say abracadabra and then I activate it.
Oh no!
It's actually bada bing, bada boom.
No,
All right, that's
please,
getting old.
no.
No, Emma, based on what you heard and what we role played out, what do you think Falzarin is? Is he on the up and up that's just being taken advantage of, or is he a real sly traitor?
I think because I haven't been caught up with all the episodes. I know. It's really bad for me to not being caught up. But as
It's okay.
Kek, I just don't know what's going on anymore. And that confusion is me as a person and me as Kek, both.
How long had Kek had those goggles?
Forever.
Forever.
Like,
And had she seen...
not but like for a long time already.
And as Kek, do you think she has seen other deep scions?
That was right?
Keck has used the goggles before, and those goggles have, like Keck said in the episode,
Reveal true nature.
They reveal true
Yeah.
natures. Keck has used and seen the goggles do that in the past, yes, ever since she's
Have
had
the
them.
true natures ever presented as a deep scion? Is she allowed to say that?
No, Keck has not seen them reveal a deep scion before, no. I wouldn't say so. I mean, she lives on the mainland. She's not from Heraklion, right?
Yeah. So she would have seen them do other things.
She's seen the magic of them that is now gone.
And that's why she's upset. Because...
Yeah, I get why you're upset. I don't think Mia regrets what she did, though.
No regrets.
Yeah.
Mana bing, mana boom.
And now we get to Shaft being the voice of reason.
Absolutely. I don't think there's anything else to be said about that. It's been a constant since episode 1.
He's definitely got a lot of, his words have weight, and he's able to persuade his way quite often.
If I would have said nothing, Falzarin would have said something to piss Shakara off, and
Almost
there would have been a
guaranteed.
battle.
Yeah.
And Mia would have probably sided with Shakara in the long run, I think.
I really don't know about that. I thought
It'd
about
be
that.
a
I don't
real
know.
shame for a Dragonborn to get burned up as well.
Yeah, if you take me down, I'm taking you down too. It would be mutual.
I mean,
Mutually
worth for
assured
burning up?
destruction.
Are you kidding me? One smite from Shakara and Falzarin's dead.
Oh yeah, I'd be squished so fast.
what you said, John, I don't know what side I would be on, but in a fight, if Shakara were to deal a killing blow to Falzarin, she might let it happen and revive him just to see if he's a deep scion when he dies.
Yeah, that was quite a discussion, wasn't it? Let's figure out if he's a deep scion. How about we treat him like a witch, throw him into the water, see if he floats.
If he floats, he's a witch.
Yeah.
Except
Yeah.
she could revive him, so it's not quite
Yeah,
as
but,
bad
like-
as the
Yeah.
Salem witch trials.
She doesn't really want to, like, revive. It's unnatural. I don't know. She doesn't want to do that.
Well, I understand that totally.
Falzarin's like, guys, I'm right here. You're proposing that you kill
That was
me.
awesome.
Just as a litmus test to see if I'm a deep scion.
It would have solved the whole issue, so...
Shaft was a bit concerned when he did look in the glasses.
I mean, it would have
and
meant he's
saw-
not a deep scion. That doesn't mean he's still not on the side of the cultists.
He could still be a deep scion.
Yeah.
Well, how much faith is put into this zone of truth, which leads us into session 74.
Yeah.
The bulk of that was in the zone of truth, right? It was a lot of...
He cannot lie, but if he thinks he's not, then he's not lying.
that
If he
Right.
doesn't...
complete. Yeah, you're right. Completely true.
Sleeper agent.
Exactly.
Or the deep scion magic, as Bill likes to put it.
That was a great way to end that, you dumbass.
That was such a funny statement. Oh my gosh. Doesn't affect me.
They finally get everything calmed down, and
We
then,
just gotta-
oh, by the way,
We gotta figure out what his trigger word is.
It's abracadabra. I already told you.
Yeah, it's kumquat. He's been triggered since session 8. It's been kumquat.
So Mia's the one casting Zone of Truth. Is she affected by Zone of Truth also?
I was willing, yeah.
Yeah, but you say that, but it could also be...
Yeah, we just take your word for that, though, right?
Yeah, we wouldn't have any way of knowing.
You wouldn't have any way of knowing. Please don't. Come on, I wasn't.
He is the deep scion.
I mean, Mia and Falzarin could be in this together.
I'm trying to take a lot of the guesswork out of, like, all this crazy party that doesn't communicate to each other and just try to relay that, like, I can be trusted and I'm good, you guys. I'm trying to play, like, a solid character.
Well, you knew Shaft wasn't going to agree to that under any circumstances, right?
No, but I do think that it's interesting dynamic now that Mia suspects he might not be as nice as, or, putting on a front in front of her.
Well, I mean, I guess one of the questions I had mechanically was, if I rolled and I passed, does she knows that I am not affected?
Yeah, I would
but
know.
Everyone else does not know, right?
Correct.
I mean, only she knows. Right.
Yeah, but she shared it with everyone.
Mia
right?
did make a point of saying Shaft and Keck are not under the effect of this spell.
Yeah, and I think I said, I'm not in question here. We're here to talk about Falls.
You did a good job of doing that. I guess now as Mia, can suspect that you have secrets. That maybe I wouldn't have known that for sure, right?
Well, he is a person of secrets, which you probably wouldn't have known. But
I don't know that, though, right?
Right, you wouldn't have known that, but
Well,
yeah.
Let's say you're all sitting around having a beer with your friends, and they go, hey, guess what? I got a zone of truth. Anybody in? How many of you would go, yeah, I have nothing to hide?
I
Ask me
would
anything.
think a normal person would be like, I think I'll pass on that.
No, exactly. I could see questions being asked that I don't particularly want to have to answer.
Yeah.
So if I would have failed that would have been a whole different story.
You can still evade. You don't have to answer.
Oh, I would evade the hell out of every question. You would be so annoyed after that 10 minutes that you'd never cast Zone of Truth on me again.
I also love that for once, because we weren't in combat, when I cast a spell, like, in real time, 10 minutes was up.
Yeah.
We, like, actually role-played 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think 74 is definitely the strongest of this batch of 3. I really liked 74. I think it was a great use of Zone of Truth as well.
Yeah.
But it is just funny that this spell that is ultimately supposed to relinquish any doubts still has not done any of that. Right? Because, like...
Not with us.
Because it's like the goggles... Like me, like you said, Elaine, I'm seeing is not believing, and the same applies to this Zone of Truth, apparently. It doesn't, because there's always going to be the question or the justification that a person that is intent on thinking and believes one way will always come up with that. I mean, that's true of any circumstance. You're always going to be like, no, like, that can't be true. Like, this is why that can't be true. And then that gets it. No, okay, this is also why that can't, right? Like, it just snowballs, and it is incredibly difficult to convince one to change their opinion. I think even if Zone of Truth existed in real life, like, it wouldn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think Shaft would not believe that he'd been duped by Faldrin all this time under any circumstances.
Yeah, that's true. You guys go way back.
Well, and this is funny. Like, I mean, obviously, I think I have a fairly good handle, especially doing these after parties, on what you as players think about each other and each other's characters. But it's always like, I wonder, I don't know how the listener is like, are some listeners out there like, man, Faldrin's a fucking deep sign, or is it like, no, Keck's a dirty liar. Like, what side?
What do you think, Emma? You're a listener. I know you're not caught up, but you played this with us. You've heard some stuff.
I don't trust Faldrin at all.
Really?
No.
You think Bill's that good of an actor?
I think he's better than he thinks he is.
I mean, you can't take that into account, though.
That's
Those
the
are two different
evidence that
questions.
Elena goes to.
I know Bill. He's not
Bill
playing
couldn't
Deep
pull that
Scion
off.
knowingly.
Come on,
Trust
There's
me.
no way he's a deep scion.
Yeah, but then we have the sleeper agent.
The
thing
deep
going
sleeper
on, so-
agent thing, maybe.
Leland just hasn't told him yet.
Well, and so this was Emma. Your appearance here as our NPC guest was a bit of a further step in the experimentation as far as the way we want to approach our NPC guests, and obviously your willingness to stick around and record with us for 3 hours definitely made that easier to inject you into all of this. And yeah, you, as you said, are just as confused as everyone else because I didn't give you all the information. I treated you as you are a player. You're not an NPC.
Ooh.
that's how I approach it anyways, and I think that showed through the role play. And
so is she still an NPC? Or is she an NNPC?
She's a non-player character, yeah.
A neutral.
Neutral.
Oh, don't get that started.
Listen to episode.
Yeah, listen to episode 5 of the Pointless Parrot Podcast.
Parrot Podcast with Leland and Emma.
Oh boy.
It's pretty entertaining, actually.
And so I hope that showed in these episodes, and I hope that I don't know. I think these episodes were great. Like, they were phenomenal, and I think there's some of our best work so far in chapter 2, quite honestly. And I hope that showed, and I hope that showed like how role play dependent we like to be, and how we're all striving to make that role play exciting, not just for ourselves but for everybody.
It was that interchange with all of us was one of the few RPG moments that when we were done and we stopped, I took a deep breath and went, "Oh man,
agreed.
That was intense." I so close to just TPKing each other, just right on the edge all the time. It was really fun, and it wore me out too.
Confronting Falzarin was super hard for me because I am a very non-confrontational person. You try to have an argument with me, I'm going to back down and run away. So having to go after him and yell at him and
it was so good.
Flame breath him, I was shaking.
Yeah, you did such a good job. I love the line when the librarian yelled at you all for being loud in 73, and like Falzarin's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And Shakar's just like, "You're embarrassed? What? That's what your concern is right now?" Oh, that was such a good delivery on that.
Yeah, I loved that one too. That was awesome.
I think we were all like visibly different in that role play. We were so tense. Like, I was for sure at home sweating. Like, I stood up from my computer chair and was like, "Whew, I'm sweating." Emily was a little bit red in the face, like, I don't know, uncomfortable. And Bill was like exasperated, like, what do I even say? Like, what can I say? John was kind of doing his normal sit back and smile. And Leland, I don't know, he was just, I don't know. I think Emma was scared we were going to kill her off, and like, we really could have attacked her. Because Shaft eventually made the point, like, what has changed in the last, 30 minutes or whatever? And logic dictates it's Keck.
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking. You were able to say that again, voice of reason.
There we go. Now we're all coming around.
And in the zone of truth, like Shakara mentioned, a higher power gave her information about Falzarin.
Well, that's the interesting part is Shakara is saying that there's two sources.
Yeah.
That are supporting her, the accusation of Falzarin. One is the goggles and one is this higher power. So that's interesting.
As a cleric, like, I had to think afterwards, would her saying her higher power showed her or revealed something to her make me trust her more? Or do I believe that my higher power is the only and best higher power, and then I don't believe anything she says? Like, I don't believe other gods, they're false.
Well, I don't think you would believe it's the only, because I think in D&D lore there are many
multiple
gods and many different types of higher powers.
Right.
I think that I am choosing to play Mia as very uncertain and questioning other gods. She's not off on a religious search for other gods and meanings in this world. She's still
you wouldn't be searching to find another god to worship or anything, but you would know of the existence of other beings of power, not necessarily other gods.
Yeah.
That certainly doesn't mean that Mia would give any credence to those gods.
I guess I just feel like Mia was raised by a family that was like, listen, these other gods exist. Who cares? This is Thor.
Yeah.
We worship Thor. Like,
totally,
it was hardcore Thor, right?
Well, yeah, but still, that doesn't discount the fact that other beings have power.
I just don't know that I would side with you over the comments that it's a higher power. I don't think it would sway me in your direction. And I don't think it would make me totally against you either, like you're saying. Like, it was interesting to think about.
I think it makes Shaft believe you less.
Shaft believes Shakara less because she's claiming it's from a higher power?
Yep. And you weren't very forthcoming when I asked you questions about that.
Nope.
Like, who's your higher power? What are you talking about? And I can't tell you that now. Oh, well then.
You resisted the zone of truth, so you cannot say anything, Shaft.
But also, I've only known you like 2 days. I'm not going to go spilling my heart out to you.
I think you've known Shaft longer than 2 days.
3 days? 4 days?
Yeah, it's not been very long.
It's not been very long.
It's
Yeah.
not been long, but
okay, 2 days and 4 days are twice the amount of time.
Still not that long.
I'd say we've been through a little bit together in fighting that we have somewhat of a trust of each other. There's no reason to disbelieve each other. But to your point, we really don't know each other enough. And I think that's why I was defending Falzarin so much, because I said a number of times, I've known him a lot longer than I've known you. You're going to have to give me some evidence if you're accusing my friend here, because I know you don't know him because you just met us.
Right.
Hey, we even just met each other. This is crazy.
But I'm a deep scion.
Yep.
So kill me, maybe.
I'll get in touch with the Tritons, maybe. Falzarin, do you believe in higher powers? What does that statement do to your opinion of Shakara?
I think I see both your points. Like, in this world, Falzarin would have studied a lot, and he loves reading and learning about varied things. So he would definitely know about the existence of all sorts of different gods and appreciate that they have power to do things or to imbue their followers with power, but he's not really a follower of any of these gods. So he acknowledges their existence, but I don't know how much credence he would put into someone saying, "Oh, my higher power told me this, so it's true."
There's no temple in Heraklion. I made the map.
Yeah.
Falzarin would have incredibly limited knowledge about gods themselves. Like you won't find a book on gods in Heraklion. I mean, we've shown what the library has. Obviously, everyone does know these gods exist.
I mean,
like,
what
that's a
can we
proven
find
thing.
out in the libraries of Heraklion?
Squat.
We don't think much.
Gotta go in the back.
Gotta find the books in the back.
Yeah, that's an interesting though, Elena, about Mia's views on her worship of Thor.
I mean, that's what I'm choosing to believe. Maybe you can tell me it's different. I don't know.
No. I think, I mean, it's your character. If you think it makes sense that your family and your roots devoted to this god would put the most faith in that god, obviously. And I would think that Shakara getting information from on high certainly is meaningful to Mia. But again, like you said, I agree with you. I don't think the way you worship and the way you were brought up is certainly not, it doesn't flick a switch saying, oh, goodness, she got information from this powerful being.
Yeah.
She must be telling the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to reverse the roles. Like, if I was told someone was bad and going to...
Right, if Thor told you that Falzarin was bad, what would Mia be doing right now in Shakara's position?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think if the roles were reversed, I would find some way to bring him to justice. I don't know that I would jump to... Like, were you trying to kill him, Emily, as Shakara?
I think I just lost my temper and was trying to incapacitate him severely.
What
With
would
fire.
have you, like, let's say he was like, you got me. What would you have done with him?
I wouldn't have killed him. Shakara would not, I don't think I would have killed him. I would have incapacitated him, and then we would have talked about what to do with him.
I think I asked that question in the thing. What do you want to do here?
Yeah.
Are we going to kill him? Are we going to take him and to the council? Do you want to put him in prison? I mean...
Well, I mean, if we kill him, we can't get any information he may know out of him. Unless we have a necromancer, which we don't.
Well, I'm not
Just being practical, you know.
But
These are the logistics we need to think about.
I guess I don't know what I would do. And I would hope that in the moment of hearing something like that, I could roleplay as good as Emily. That was freaking amazing. Like, just how pissed off she was.
I did message Bill afterwards and be like, we're still okay, right? Bill and Emily are good, right?
Yeah, that was sweet. I left that session being like, wow, that was awesome. Because like has been said already, it's not all the time you leave an RPG session with your heart racing and feeling like sweaty palms and clammy and the adrenaline pumping. Like it was great.
You're fighting for your life with words.
Yeah. Even combat, combat isn't always going to make you feel that level of intensity.
Yeah, Shakara was sort of like Judge Dredd, right? Judge, jury, and executioner all wrapped up in one, right?
Totally.
You need to find a necromancer sidekick so you can just go out and kill people and raise them back up and find out if what you chose was correct.
That'd be a great spin-off.
Raising Shakara.
What do you think Shakara's necromancer sidekick's name would be?
So I was just trying to think of what goes with
I'm like already...
No.
Shikara and Shikara.
It would be like Shakara and Shambler or something. Like if I was a necromancer and I'm raising zombies, I would probably name myself Shamblers, and then I could have the Shambler bunch as my would be what I would call my zombies.
Okay, I originally was picturing like Wild Western music, but now I'm picturing the Brady Bunch theme song.
Yeah. Well, up until now, Shakara's been a goody-goody two-shoes, so I think that's pretty accurate.
I want to say something, but I'm afraid it'll give away too much.
Yeah, there's definitely a listener out there. There's parts we did not hear.
Well, not that. I mean, you just got to kind of think about when Shakara's attitude started changing, and it wasn't when she met Keck.
Oh.
Yeah. Again, I hope that we've done a good enough job of kind of building to this point. And when I say me, I really do mean, or when I say we, I really do mean myself as the dungeon master, kind of enabling the role play moments that have led to this moment. I think we've done a pretty damn good job, and obviously the majority of that falls on Emily to accurately portray these changes, and it's totally like it's Emily's doing, right? Like Emily did a great job, I think, in this entire lead up, and it's not like things are resolved either. It was just a thing. So stuff coming up, right? Like we haven't really seen the fallout from all of this, and
Nope.
We're still falling.
and who knows how long that'll last either in the upcoming episodes.
So speaking about DM interacting to encourage this type of thing, let's talk about the barrel.
Ooh,
Okay.
Yeah, he mentions the barrel. He chose to mention it.
So Shaft went down and talked to his buddy and then thought, yeah, I don't have any problem. It's a freaking barrel sitting there. Nobody's going to say anything about that. And then we went down, and the first thing our DM says is, you notice a barrel.
Well, you're in like a little 15 by 15 foot room. This barrel is lashed together and has been inspected by all of the
And
party.
it stinks like fish.
And it stinks like seawater. I think I would have done a disservice.
I sure as hell didn't see that coming. Now, you did a very good job of helping cover it up afterwards, after the explosion.
Yeah. Tenchi held up his end, yeah.
Yeah, he got a mop out and started cleaning up afterwards. Yeah. So, any thoughts on that?
You have Danzig in the barrel in Tenchi's room, and Tenchi's keeping an eye on him, hopefully.
That must be what you're doing on your solo part.
Shakara pretty much flat out asked, this is secure and safe, right?
Let's not jump to conclusions now.
I don't know that Tenchi knows what he has and how potentially dangerous it could be. I mean, you might have just killed Tenchi.
Oh, poor Tenchi.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know how much time he's got left to bake. Who knows?
Nope. And he could be coming out of that barrel swinging and killing everything that he sees.
Going up to the bar, ordering a 377.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if they're out of that 3 or that 7, I mean, who knows what's going to happen?
He's gonna lose it.
If he has to get a 488, he will be pissed.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, Leland said I'm funny. Oh.
And we've got it recorded.
It's recorded.
Well, yeah, but
We will edit it
guess
out.
who has the power? Yeah.
Whenever I ask him to edit something out, he doesn't. So please edit that out.
Okay, Emma, what's your thoughts? You did 3 hours with us, and overall, what'd you think? Did you enjoy it?
The 3 hours just flew by. Hey.
Bada bing, bada boom.
No, it was so much fun. I got very scared halfway through because I was scared I was not role playing as good as I hoped to do. So because Leland really threw me for a loop with all the information I got, which wasn't a lot. And then that happened, and I was like, oh, what now?
Were you expecting me to react the way I did?
I don't know what I expected to happen, to be honest. It was pretty hard to stir the pot, but it was also pretty fun. I kind of was sad to leave. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I mean, I haven't died yet, so if you don't kill me, I'll be back one day, maybe, hopefully. I mean, the 3 hours were like, it didn't feel like 3 hours. It was so much fun.
Yeah, we haven't killed an NPC yet, except Satdorf afterwards.
In the March Madness.
It's not. Yeah, it's March Madness battle. He's not
different.
really dead. He's on an island somewhere, or I should say, they're on an island somewhere. So you never know. You might show up in a tavern somewhere on the mainland and cause all kinds of problems.
Falzern better watch his back.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, he'll be dead by then. And we'll have another character you get to meet.
Well, yeah, at this rate, Falzern won't get off this island. So.
Not looking good for him.
Falsey's resilient, despite being a squishy wizard. He's hung around a long time.
Yeah, it's very surprising, quite honestly.
And if you kill him, I'll never forgive you. So.
I remember there being a point way long ago, probably around the Goldham time when the party was in Goldham.
Whoa.
maybe a few episodes after that, where I'm like, oh man, if Falzern dies, there's so much cool stuff that dies with him.
Oh,
I
no.
hope he doesn't die, because like at that point it was obviously I hope it's clear that I go to great efforts to inject a lot of your characters' backstories into the current events as well, right? And I think that's very important at running a game, because it keeps the players engaged, even in times where things aren't directly influenced by them or their characters. It keeps them engaged into everything, I think. And I'm like, okay, so obviously I had plans for all 4 of your characters right away, right? There's obviously lots of stuff that, should the party go in this direction, you will hit this character's stuff, or in this direction, it will be related to this character. And obviously, we have a habit of dilly-dallying around with a lot of things that are going on out there. So there was legitimately a point. I'm like, oh my goodness, if Falzern dies, I will be so fucking heartbroken. Like,
Was it all the million times that Bryn saved Falzern's life, where all that flashed before
thank
your eyes?
Thor for Bryn. My goodness.
You're welcome, Bill.
Thanks.
That's the thanks I get.
To speak to the heartbreak with Bryn and Gozer's death, it's the exact same thing. There's so much unresolved character stuff for them that we'll never get to see how it influences them. You may, as a party, may come into the periphery of the spheres of that influence, but it will never be the same to that particular player, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Brent's dead. I mean, how many times have we said, oh man, I wish we had went to Tufts Mountain when Gozer was around? Like,
Yeah.
What would happen if Shaft and Falzern died and the party that was retained was Shakara and Mia? I don't know that we would pursue the towers or anything.
Yeah.
Right?
No. Towers would
We're
be
not
easy.
pursuing the towers now.
Well, no, I'm not. In the episode I said, what tower job?
Unless something happened, like one of the paladins or something came against Mia and Shakara and drew them back into that and gave them a reason to go down there. We have no reason to do anything with it.
I think Mia wants to go find the Nyogi and get in a spaceship and fly out of here, you know?
Right. Well, quite frankly, honestly, I'm so happy that we finally made it to Heraklion, because you're already, and yeah, it took some digging on Shaft's part, but you're already seeing some of the influence of the paladins going unchecked. And yeah, inevitably that influence will become greater and greater in accordance to whatever Samuel's goals may or may not be with Aspara or the events that are taking place in Aspara. I think, yeah, like it's an inevitability that influence will be felt regardless of the party's makeup.
Yeah, I agree.
But who knows how long that would take, or if the party in some type of different configuration would even care about dealing with that influence compared to everything else that they are currently trying to deal with. So that's a completely valid question. Who knows? Like, it just, yeah, we may just never see a paladin of cultists ever again.
Yep.
My next character is going to be a paladin of cultists.
There we go.
Many
That's the
side
help
tangents.
we need. Yeah. Well, does that mean Falzarin's next character will be a hag? Because
The fourth sister.
Falzarin is already trying to be the fourth sister.
That's true.
You go, girl.
Man, I almost like that better than Flame-Burrowed Falzarin and Falzarin the fourth sister.
Falzarin the fourth sister, yes.
It's not confirmed yet, though.
Yeah, you have yet to be fully initiated, but I am so excited that Isabella's back. Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. I can't wait for so much fun we're going to have with Isabella.
Oh, God.
I can't tell if that was sarcasm or not.
Falsey's been able to have radio silence for how long now with Izzy and not interact with her, and then he winds up at this party and she's the guest of honor.
You know, it's always bugged Shaft that we believe we killed Erica, and you were supposed to go back and tell Izzy about that, and then you have no desire to see her.
Yeah.
And you're still just as worried. That's always been in the back of his mind. He's a little bit pissed off about that.
Right.
But he's letting it play out.
Well, because I think initially Bill played it as Falzarin was excited to maybe be part of this coven, but then the longer it's gone on, the more I get the feeling that he really was reluctantly forced into it.
I think that has a lot to do with a lot of the information that has been uncovered since in relation to some members of that coven. I mean, all this shit that Erica is involved in.
Right, that's true.
If I was Falzarin, I'd be hesitant as hell to get in anywhere
well,
near
and
it.
Brendel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scarred by Brendel.
And Falsey has always maintained that he was put in a life or death situation.
Yeah.
And he picked the only choice that would allow him to,
live.
Survive. Yeah. So.
Minus the fact that they don't want to kill you. Like, they wouldn't kill you.
But he would, if he had have refused, he would have been killed.
That's Izzy that would kill him. The cultists didn't want to kill him. That's a whole separate faction.
If the cultists are linked with Erica, why would Erica's monster swallow and try to kill Falzarin? Like,
Because it's a monster. It's
okay.
Falzarin was there and available.
Okay.
You're talking about the mama breathing pod?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Do we know that? How could any of us know what information, even in this group of cultists or these Kralakina worshippers, like the individuals in which you encounter cannot be assumed to have all of the information as the guy you just met 2 weeks ago in the same cult, right? Like Brendel, how long was Brendel traveling with you, right? And I guess there were still lots of opportunities for him to do some of this back dealing and stuff. So, but how much of the information that was learning and gathering on the party when he was with you, was he able to relay to somebody that may be higher up?
A lot of that information may have just died with him.
Very possibly, yeah.
And they probably work on a need-to-know basis. I'm sure they don't have memos going out to all their members.
Everyone gets a magical message sent around every day.
Yeah.
You've got mail.
Minutes from our last meeting.
The weekly minutes.
Well, you guys, the party episode's going to be a party. Whoop, whoop. We are not social distancing in Herekion.
It's so funny because I was, putting those episodes together and like the chunk of our waveforms, there's so many like just silence from like 2 of you here and then 2 of you over here as we do. There's a lot of off mic stuff.
There is, one could argue that there is a bit of social distancing.
Ah, true.
We do split the party once again, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait to play again because there's still so much stuff that we haven't even, like, there's some awesome
I thought
stuff
you were
coming
say
out.
Because we've been stuck in the house together for a week straight.
That I'm slowly going crazy, yeah. But yeah, like there's some really, really fun stuff coming up in the stuff we've already recorded, but then there's even more that like I want to play again.
Yeah,
it can get pretty intense. I could just see, Falls running Mia. Well, you don't do the dishes. Well, you didn't clean up. Stabbing and a lot of death.
D&D in real life.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to do the dishes right now, sick.
Oh.
So we should ask Emma as an NPC guest or an NPC guest.
Yes.
That a little bit about, like you got the Pointless Parrot Podcast or some things like that, that involved you. Have you played D&D before? Do you play role-play games typically? Those kind of things?
I am playing a campaign with my D&D group, which is now going on for 2 years, I think. But we meet up once a month because we're like 7 people that need to be able to meet up in real life. And I'm playing a tiefling rogue thief. So I like stabbing people, and I don't like to bathe, so I stink during everything. It's just like it's a nice character to play, and I'm a smelly thief. I can roll stealth what I want, but the other people would smell me. No.
That'd be hilarious.
So in that campaign, do you guys do a lot of role playing? Are you more battle heavy, or is it?
It's a bit of both. It depends on how distracted we get during playing. Because one time we because we play for like half a day, like 5 hours in a row, and we spent the entire session just running around the city and playing with kids trying to find a hidden entrance to something, and then we didn't actually achieve anything during that session.
That sounds about right.
What that's like.
That sounds about right. Is it a homebrew, or is it from a module or a book or something?
I don't know. I don't know. It's the second campaign I've ever played. So.
Oh, okay.
So you play 5e, 5th edition?
Yeah.
You said it's been ongoing for 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
But in game, it's like 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
Oh, that's funny. I wonder. I mean, we've talked off mic about, or I have complained about listening to other role playing podcasts and how I have minimal tolerance for them in most cases. Mainly, and it makes me think how different our game would be if we weren't recording it, because like there's so many. I feel like we all do a really good job of contributing to the role play in the efforts of advancing whatever story arc we're currently exploring. Whereas when you play at the table, like Emma said, you meet some kids and go try to find some secret door. That there's so much more of that playing at the table, just playing, right? You know what I mean? Like there's so much just more bullshit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which we don't cut any of that out because we don't do any of that.
We don't add it in the first place.
Right. It's not there
I think
for
Bill
like.
and I wouldn't know the difference, really.
No, I think you just keep going in a certain pace to try to deliver some of the story instead of like, oh, I want to find out what this thing is doing, or trying to keep more to the main storyline, because that's what drew the people in and what they are listening for, in a way.
What I want too, though, I want to further the story because I want to find out what's going to happen. I mean, I don't know what Leland has planned for us, and I want to know what the heck's going on with the Paladins. Why are they destroying the bottom half of the continent? What's going on with Izzy? Is she really, 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 really bad, or is she really bad? So Emily wants to find this stuff out.
As like a viewer or listener of some other shows, like, do you tune in every week or binge something because it's just the same thing over and over, or do you need to know what happens? Like, you want to know what's going on. Like, so you kind of got to deliver some of that.
Yeah, I think you can't just screw around and goof off for many episodes in a row, or people are going to get bored, right?
Well, for me, it's like I don't mind hearing that, and I know that is how a lot of normal games play out most of the time. For me to enjoy that stuff, though, I do need to enjoy like the people that are on that, and that also would mean that I need to have already gotten to know them through the show as well. So it is difficult for me to jump into new and try to listen to newer shows where that is a lot of stuff right off the bat, and I don't know who the people are, just they've been recommended in some like Twitter thread or whatever, right? Like, and I don't know, maybe I'm just an asshole.
I know what you mean, though.
Well, no comment.
I agree, Leland. Think about all the times there's a TV show where people are like, if you can get through season 1, or if you can get through season 1 so that you learn the characters but just cringe with it, like the rest of the show is great. Or whatever, right?
Absolutely. And that is very true of our show. Those first probably half a dozen episodes are definitely not our best work, especially when you can compare them to the quality in which we're putting out now. So I don't know if like... That's why I try not to be hypocritical in that sense, because I wouldn't want somebody judging our first few episodes of our show like I often find myself judging other shows. And that's why I try not, I'm much more cognizant of being that judgy, trying to get into and experience other types of play and other groups of role play and other styles of show too. I mean, I think our show, again, more focusing on the narrative, our show is much more serious than a lot of other live play podcasts, that obviously excluding ones that are more leaning towards like horror genre or even horror style systems, right? Yeah, we certainly goof off a lot, but a lot of our content is more mature content. And even as far as just some of the interactions in which the party's having with each other and even with other NPCs, it leans towards being more mature as opposed to being more goofball. And I don't know if that is like segregating a bit of I don't know if that matters as far as building an audience for the majority of people. But obviously it's a lot of what I think, especially when I'm editing, right? Like I hear our episodes like 3 or 4 different times, right? As we're playing, first pass, second pass, listening to again the final cut to prepare for after parties, right? It's a lot of, so I experience it a lot to think about that a lot and contemplate about how we're running the game and how we're playing the game and how our sound is coming out. And I don't know really where I'm leading with this. I'm just rambling now, but
just
making it all about you again, Leland.
Well, I'll start off by saying you're not just an asshole. And then,
I'm so much more than an asshole.
I think what you're
so much more than
what you're getting at is a lot of people just get together, they record it, and then they throw it out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not doing justice to the story and letting the listener appreciate the story. You're giving them all this other crap that they have to sort of weed through audibly to get to the good stuff. They have to find it in the mix and pick it out. What you're doing and how we're approaching the show is we get rid of all that, so all you're getting is content that is progressing the story and leading us to that next point.
Yes, thank you for that summation. That's very eloquently put. And I think though, like, I don't know if that's clearly has influenced our play style as a group too, because again, like, it's not stuff that we are omitting from what we have played. It is literally we just don't play that way. So like generally when I build my worlds, they're very small. If you look at Aspara is very small for a world map. It's more like kingdom scale map, and I intentionally do that because I like to keep the games more refined and kind of almost claustrophobic in a sense. And the way that I build the world and what's happening in it, you actually will very rarely find, in most cases, side quests that have nothing to do with anything else. Even Thuff's Mountain, there has certainly been some post-credit stuff that lends to it having some type of influence or connection to some other things that are happening in the world. And that is it's impossible for me to plan any of that, but it is something that organically occurs and that I can organically implement as the party are exploring and maybe even making some of these connections yourself. It's very clearly DMs listen to your players, because this after party's I love hearing all of your theories, obviously, because it's so nice to be able to draw right from what you guys are thinking or experiencing or putting together yourself that maybe I haven't even put together myself. I'm like, wow, that makes so much sense. How did I miss that myself, kind of thing. So I think it's a lot. Again, it's a lot to do with how I build my homebrew worlds. I think. I guess. I don't know. I mean, do you all want? Like, I guess Emily probably doesn't want. But do you all want more side quests that just do nothing, but you can just grind for XP and loot, or like? I mean, that's not the type of game that we have. That's not the type of show that we have.
No.
It used to bug me more. I've talked about it on after parties.
Yeah, you bitch about it incessantly.
I just want to get the job done.
Right.
And now, I don't know. I kind of realize it's hopeless.
Well, I think what we're saying is that if we were just a bunch of friends playing every Thursday night at one of our houses, you might be even more frustrated, because probably that type of setting is more likely to have a lot of people goofing off on side quests and taking forever to follow the main plot line, basically, because there's not as much impetus to do so. You can do whatever you want.
Not with Leland. He could have control and be like, you find nothing.
Well, I mean, that's, yes, it ultimately comes to whomever is running the game. Like, you can steer your players in a direction without it seeming like you're railroading them as well. If you are experienced enough or skilled enough at it, I think that's a very important skill to develop, and a very hard one, I think, to develop to become a good game master. And obviously, I'm also like still developing on those skills too, right? Like, I don't have that much experience running games. It's obviously predominantly what I enjoy doing.
If we were to decide to do like a crazy side tangent where our party is now, I think my attitude's changed if it was something fun. If we were all able to be in character having fun, I think it would be a blast.
Right.
I'm not saying like the mountain, but...
Totally, yeah, I get what you're saying. Would you as players...
Like if everyone's on board with it too, right?
Right. But would you as players, would you get more fun out of being able to just ham it up as your characters in some random situation, or is the fun you're leeching out of it, like Emily said, pursuing the main story as your characters and reacting to the events as your characters? And I guess the main difference is the progression of the overall story and the stakes, because you could, on a side tangent, you could be susceptible to dying, which would be a really shitty death in my opinion, for one thing. Dying on some unrelated tangent to the rest of everything, like, that would suck, right?
That would suck.
But with the main story, there's just way more stakes, and the stakes make the story.
Like, let's say this party that Keck invited us to was a party that had nothing to do with the elders, there was nothing pressing, and we're like, yeah, let's go to this party, and then we play 5 hours, like another 5 episodes of a party. I can't see that happening unless it was really, really fun.
But yeah, and that's a good point. So, like, in that instance, the content wouldn't be there for 5 hours of gameplay. It just wouldn't. you would be there maybe an hour and you meet some people. I mean, obviously, I would throw in some NPCs that would have shown up that you all would, or some of you would probably recognize and maybe want to interact with. And again, I would stitch it into everything else that's going on to drive that content.
Which is what I think we all would rather have. But you're saying we would be susceptible to side tangents if we played in person, but really you have a lot of control over how interesting it can get.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like we're all collectively writing a book, and there's different chapters, and you're going along, but if all of a sudden you got to a chapter, and it was all different characters in a different scene, and made no sense to anything else, and then you went on to the other chapter, you'd go, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we're writing a book or a movie together. We're not doing a Monster of the Week TV show.
Exactly. So I can't think of it any other way. I would assume if that chapter came in and there was a whole bunch of different characters and suddenly it would wrap into the main story. There's no way it wouldn't with what we do.
Right. Well, yeah. What's the purpose if it doesn't?
Exactly.
What is the narrative purpose for that?
What's the point? If you don't like it, you guys, go listen to something else.
Yeah, fuck you, listener.
I said it for you, Elon.
Yeah.
But so it's like, yeah, so if we get to and we start chapter 3 of our adventure, completely new party.
The Pointless Party Podcast.
The Pointless Party Podcast. And we never tie it back into our original party, which is probably would still be kicking and alive at the end of chapter 2, but we just never mention them ever
crossed.
again.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
And then they ran across them as an NPC during.
Yeah, and they have to fight them.
You can play Falzer and Emma.
No, I don't want to.
Do we want to talk about how March Madness is determined? How the winners are determined?
Oh, yeah, our
I
bracket.
don't think we've ever said anywhere.
This is a long after party. Let's hear it.
Yeah, well, this was very off the cuff, this whole March Madness thing. Very clear, if it's not clear. And, like, it's finally we're, like, at a part where we know what we are doing with it. And I didn't plan to do any of the after credit bout descriptions until it was at, like, session 70, like the night.
You decided it yourself without telling us. Yeah.
But I love it.
It was influenced by, like, John making the bracket and, you know.
I make a comment, which then turns into, should we really do March Madness? Which then John makes a bracket. Yes.
It was really interesting because I came home and I go, I'll throw it out there. It might be something to throw on Facebook or the website or something. And then later that night, I messaged Leland and I go, are we going to announce it on the podcast or not? And we sort of went, I go, whatever, I don't care, I'm going to bed. And I was laying there in bed, and I go, man, it would be cool if he did some kind of play-by-play. And then I woke up in the morning, and I listened to it, and I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted. It was funny.
Did you really want Grimby's head to pop like that?
I didn't, but unfortunately, that's just how the cookie crumbled, so...
And how did that cookie crumble, Leland?
So the brackets were randomly created by John, right? So we didn't like hand pick what NPCs we wanted. They were kind of random. It's all random.
Yeah, we had a big list of NPCs, and John randomly pulled the ones that got pulled.
Right, exactly. And I think as Bill had tweeted out today about it, actually, it's just how the dice fall. So the pairings, I treat it like death saving throws. Each character gets assigned a d20. They directly roll off. High roll wins. Best out of 3 out of 5 is the victor. And so I also, in the play-by-play, as I construct the narrative of it, every hit that one lands is a win on that d20 roll as well.
Ooh.
So in the case of like Grimby versus Chucky, Grimby was up. He had won like the first 2 rolls, and then Grimby just came back. Then Chucky just made a comeback and just managed to obliterate him, and that's how the narrative forms. And it's like I almost wish I could do it a little differently, as far as being able to narrate as I'm rolling, because like my own expression when Chucky came back, I was so sad when he killed Grimby.
You're like, well,
poor
there you
Grimby.
have it, kids. The hunchback
It
kid.
makes perfect sense. You know, poor Chucky was wronged in so many ways, and now he's just pissed. He's back with a vengeance, and he just wants blood.
Yeah.
I can see
He's
that.
back from Detmer's place.
Yeah,
That's
he's
right.
no longer trapped in the wall.
Well, maybe Detmer sold him into the Gladiator, who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He's been working his way through the circuit.
Yeah. So now, had we had a little more for March March Madness 2021, we could possibly assign modifiers to the specific NPCs based on some of their abilities, as far as the roll off, right? To actually have it based on NPC skill. You know that like
You mean if we actually planned this?
we can actually
thought about
plan
it?
something.
How many of our player characters do you think will end up in March Madness 2021?
That would be funny, but I would feel weird about narrating your
What if
characters.
we had?
And that.
What if we had 16 dead player characters? But
The ghosts of IP past.
Probably better. Yeah.
just a quick sweet 16.
Well, actually, it's funny that this is also, I'm realizing, giving me a chance to subtly reiterate some aspects of past NPCs that may have or may not have been glanced over on first contact. So that's, it's good for me. While this is, technically a completely parallel universe as far as events of these NPCs living or dying, they still share the same Aspara counterpart aspects and abilities. So I'm having a good time with that.
So the Arcanist had superhuman strength when he activated his chest plate. That's what you're saying.
That's how that piece of armor works, but you also identified it and knew that's how it worked. Way back in session 8. So.
Sounds about right.
Yes.
Smile and nod. Smile and nod.
When he used the bucklers, they worked.
Oh man, the play-by-play is amazing. Like for you to be reenacting it that loud, like what do your neighbors think?
I wonder about that too, because the last one I put together, it was 11 p.m. or something.
How far away from the mic do you have to stand to
To them
yell? Are
yelling.
you across the room
man.
yelling?
Do
There
the
you
old lean back, yeah.
They probably hear him in his bedroom doing that, and they're going, "Oh my God, that guy's narrating everything that he's doing."
He's having a good social isolation.
Dear God, it's bloody.
Grimby's head is chummed.
He's handing out gold tonight.
Okay, Emily, when there's a pause like that, that's when you got to say something.
This is the time for
Something.
plugs.
Yeah, I think we're done. I call this one done.
I'm gonna resist the urge, but this is the time for plugs. Plugs.
Oh, good job.
Go for it. Plug away, Elena.
I'm proud of you, actually.
Yeah, so Emma, what do you do? Where can we find you? What do you want to plug?
Okay, so the Pointless Parrot Podcast is just pointless stuff, and Leland was on it. Emily will be on it soon, and hopefully the rest of the party one day as well. Just for the Pointless Parrot Podcast in your podcast.
The listener can completely disregard your next release, though.
No.
Episode 6, don't need to bother.
No.
Is he caught up? Will he hear this in time? I don't know.
We don't know. We don't know.
If you have the party on, the title is the Pointless Party Podcast.
The whole party
The whole
on
party.
the podcast.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
I don't think Emma's ready for that.
no. And random stuff I post is at Emzaya, and that's basically it.
Yes, I've been enjoying the Pointless Parrot Podcast. I recommend anyone tune in, give it a listen.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
fun.
Except episode 5, some random person
Well,
was on
yeah.
that. So
I didn't have
Some
high,
asshole.
high hopes
I'm
for
neutral
Leland,
about
really.
episode 5. I didn't like it. I did not like it, It's neutral.
it was an episode.
It was,
It was
an
an
episode.
episode.
Yeah, let's not dive into a neutral discussion because that can drag on.
Don't get me started on neutrality. I tell you, we'll be here for another 43 minutes. Yeah, so this comes out March 25th. April 1st, again, is our 1-year anniversary. We will be going ahead with our third giveaway for the beautifully upcoming painted mini from John that you could win. So stay tuned on our socials for that. And we are still going ahead with just launching our Patreon on April 1st, despite the very hard times that a lot of us are experiencing right now. Obviously, like I did mention, that I think it was our last after party, that we're going to keep doing our show, and we're just going to keep giving you all of the Aspara stuff, and yeah, because we still enjoy doing it. So
Yeah.
It creates more content.
we could certainly delay the launch, but again, for how long? Who knows what's going to happen in the future? So yeah, we're just gonna set her up and keep doing what we do, and whatever comes of it, comes of it. Absolutely. So please, still, we hope you are enjoying the main show, and that you continue to do so.
And these guys deserve
Well-worded.
all the love because they all put in so much work. So me as a listener, talking to the other listeners, just help them out. I think they deserve it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much
Thanks,
for that.
Emma.
I'm sorry, I wanted to stab you.
Kid Leland just cuts this out like completely.
No, if you tell him to cut it out, he'll leave it in. So
Well, if you are new to the show, maybe still a little behind in Chapter 2, and you want to learn more about the world of Aspara, you can visit incorrigibleparty.com. We have plenty of NPC warning. There is some definitely spoilery information,
Very
depending on where you
spoilery.
are in the show. Plenty of world maps that John is working incredibly hard on.
Look really
Beautifully crafted. Yeah, excellent. Social media, we're Incorrigible Par on Twitter, Incorrigible Party on Instagram, search the Incorrigible Party on Facebook. We'd love to hear you, what you're thinking of the show, and reach out to us. That'd be great.
And we have a public
You know-
Discord channel that I don't know
Yeah,
how
we-
people get invited to.
Correct.
We
That
never
we do.
plug that.
That we could annoy you greatly with.
It's currently a shit show,
It's
so I don't
very
know.
incorrigible, you guys.
Oh, boy.
I don't recommend it. Really.
I recommend, listen, these are times where we're at home a lot more. You're checking your phone often. Let's chat. Let's hang out.
Yeah,
Let's
but
annoy each other.
if you're going to get something, it's going to be from your phone. Your phones are filthy. Wash your phones, people. Clean your phones in
true.
addition to your hands.
If you only knew how many poop particles are all over your phone.
Oh, Bill.
That's why it tastes like that.
Ew, why are you eating your phone?
That's the kind of great content you're going to see on our Discord channel.
That's the real sincere content.
I guess we'll have to put where can we post a link to our Discord? On the website?
On the
maybe, or
website. Let's put it
Twitter?
on the
Sure,
website.
we can put it on the website. There's also an old tweet. I mean, we could repin it to Twitter as well.
Let's
but-
retweet it. Let's put it on the website. Let's hang out together in these times that are uncertain. And I mean, in all honesty, I hope you guys wash your hands and stay safe. Isolate. Let's get over this thing and
Don't touch your face.
get the party back together because we don't know if we're gonna meet each other again this summer at this point. So
Yeah, at this point,
touch
it's
your
not looking
face.
likely.
Touch your face
Don't
some more.
touch your
Leland.
face.
And-
Yeah, we all sincerely hope that everyone out there is staying safe and staying well, and hopefully this thing is all over with ASAP. But in the meantime, stay healthy, stay away from big crowds. You guys know what to do. Wash your hands.
Be physically distant.
Okay, well, you all did a very good job of trying to trump my incredibly heartfelt after-credit scene from the last after party. Didn't quite come close, but it's much appreciated. I'm sure everyone loves the sentiments that you are, of course, expressing. Let's
we
wrap this
just wish
bitch up.
people are incorrigible. We don't want them to be incorrigibly infectious.
Okay, that's...
And music swells.
Yeah. Cue the music. Okay, alright, fine. Don't like alliteration. Alright.
Well, Emma, we'll start our sign-off with you, so I just go ahead and say goodbye, and then we'll all get into our regular thing.
Bye-bye.
You do need to say your
You might
name.
want to say you gotta say who you are, and you gotta say your kick
Let's
too.
have the after credits now.
You gotta say
I've been Emma and Keck.
yeah.
Say hi.
We broke Emma.
The internet will never
I've
forgive
been
us.
Emma. I'm Emma. I've played Tech. Maybe I'll be back. Who knows? Bye.
And I'm Shaft and John.
I'm Emily and Shakara.
I'm Elena and Mia.
I'm Bill and Falzarin.
And I'm Leland Steele.
Happy adventuring!
Bye!
Welcome to the final bracket of the 8th finals. 4-hour Western bout. We have the irresistibly breathy seductress, the one-stop shop for all your giant shadow toad needs, Isabella Good! Versus the water-breathing potion master crafter, the worst best friend you'll ever have, Brenda! Isabella immediately drops her illusion magic, showing the crowd her true Anna's hag form. Look at those biceps! Brendel fumbles for a potion bottle, but Izzy is having none of it. She's got a hold of the self-proclaimed alchemist and is squeezing the life out of him. Oh, not even Izzy could prescribe Brendel something for that pain. Good has dropped Brendel now. He looks to be in pretty rough shape. His firebolts are going wild. He couldn't hit the broadside of a mama breathing pod. Isabella's produced some sort of black dagger with wires connected to it. She lands a stab deep into Brendel's chest. Where in a spara do these wires run to? They're glowing now. I've never seen anything like this. Where did that table come from? There's something under a sheet, folks. It's moving. Isabella's raised a flesh golem, ladies and gentlemen. It's missing a head and an arm, but the one it does have makes short work of smashing Brendel into the arena floor. Isabella Good has done it. Take a number. The doctor is in. And for our Eastern bracket, we have the wooden idol that could, the heart of a lion with the body of a badger, Barriet the Vicious, versus heir to the family fortune, the vainest mare in Aspara, Blake Lakely. Jumping to that 20 initiative, Barry lunges for Lakely, tearing into the canvas of a painting. The arena is littered in portraits of Blake Lakely. Barry looks confused, folks. He tears into another Blake, only to get a mouthful of painted quaff. Looks like the mayor has lost Badger in his egocentric house of Blake Mears. Even I've lost some, folks. But the Badger is nothing if not a wild animal. Barry's sniffing the ground now. He appears to have found something, catching a whiff of that lavender-scented beeswax Blake uses to perfect that head of hair. A third growl and lunge from Barry, and he's found him! Barriet the Vicious has a vice grip on Blake Lakely's throat, tearing right through it. The mare is down for the count. That is a badger in my pocket, and I'm happy to see you. Barry wins! Well, that one was bloody and necromantic, just the way I like 'em. Stay tuned for the first bracket of our quarterfinals in the next episode.